Hello everyone, it's Vivi and let's dive straight into it. This character right here, which you're probably not too aware of or familiar with, is Winthorpe. You perhaps have never heard of this character, well, because he's never appeared in any of the games. That's right, Winthorpe has never made an appearance, nor was ever mentioned in any of the games in the series. Instead, he made an appearance in Sly Cooper issue number 2, published in 2005, and was mentioned in a short novel titled Sly Cooper to Catch a Thief. For those unaware, this book was published in 2006 by Scholastic. This book is pretty much an extended version or expansion of Sly Comic Issue 1. A sort of hidden gem, I'd say. For other things, I'll probably bring up this book again in the future. Right off the bat, we don't know much about this Winthorpe character, other than him being referred to as Detective Winthorpe in the book. In terms of what role he played, at least looking at this book, he guided Carmelita to her next case, a celebration of Dimitri and Madame Doinko's engagement at Doinko's mansion in Monaco. Here's the fun part. I've actually had this book for a long time, so here's an actual quote by Winthorpe for you guys. "You wanted me to keep tabs on big names in the crime world, right? I think this counts." What he did, he pulled out a small envelope from his pocket and handed it to Carmelita. That's how she discovered Dimitri and Madame Doinko's engagement in the first place. Carmelita knew that something felt unusual. Dimitri settling down, marriage and stuff? Nah, she didn't buy it. The invitation actually stated, "Witness the Madame's generous engagement gift to Dimitri, the world-famous statue, the Venus de Wallo." She had a wide grin on her face for two reasons. One, she now understood why Dimitri felt enticed to engage or marry Doinko, the statue, of course. Think about it. Seeing as how Dimitri is an art forger, someone who goes after the money, Dimitri must have believed that it was a no-brainer to have access to the Venus de Wallo, regardless of the circumstances. Reason number 2, she also felt like Sly would appear, thinking he wouldn't be able to resist stealing such a statue. And she was right. In the end, he did steal the statue with his gang, both explained in the novel and depicted right here in the comic. Side note, as for why Sly would even want to steal the statue, it was never made very clear. Carmelita at least had slight suspicion of Doinko having a smuggling operation, but unfortunately she never managed to get enough proof on that. With that said, let's bring our attention back to Winthorpe. In both the book and issue number 2, Winthorpe appeared to have a thing for Carmelita. In the book, before he took out that envelope, he entered Carmelita's office with a rose, a droopy one as a matter of fact. Excuse me, Inspector Fox, I have something for you." Carmelita replied, "Now's not a good time, Winthorpe." Winthorpe then added, I hope you'll find this interesting." Carmelita noticed that he walked in holding a droopy rose in his hand. Saying as how she looked unimpressed by it, saying stuff like, "That? A droopy rose?" He was quick to dismiss the rose and got rid of it. As for why I decided to feature these quotes from the book, well, it gives us an idea of how Winthorpe secretly felt about Carmelita, or maybe still does. He walks in with a rose and struggles to speak. He's nervous. We don't think he was nervous to pull out that envelope, but nervous for a rose? Yeah, we'd like to think so. Now in comic issue 2, he walks into the office with the line, "Do you believe in love at first sight? If the hearts above his head are not an indication of having a thing for her, then I don't know what is." He also seems to be holding a droopy rose here. Heck, we have the same exact line from the book. "Now's not a good time, Winthorpe." Remember, the book is an extended version of issue number 1. This one right here is issue number 2. So what gives, you might ask? Intentional or not? What's important to take into account here is him clearly having a thing for Carmelita. He even attempts at complimenting her, and no budge. Other than that, he comes back with coffee as per Carmelita's request, only to then be told she doesn't actually drink coffee. And that's about it when it comes to Winthorpe. But what if they could do more with this character in the future? Think about it. Winthorpe seems to work closely with Carmelita and is known as a detective. What I could imagine is him getting caught in the middle. He could eventually realize that Carmelita actually has feelings for that one perpetrator she's been meaning to find, Sly Cooper. Reaching that point, he's not sure what to do. Expose her? Or keep it a secret from Interpol? He does seem to admire her or even have a crush on her. Then again, he'd be putting his own job at risk if the head at Interpol were to ever find out he kept such a secret. Same goes for Carmelita. If there's one person who would grow suspicious of Carmelita hanging out with this guy randomly, then I'd like to think Winthorpe's the guy. After all, as stated prior, he does seem to work closely with Carmelita. Now look, I'm not saying I imagine a cliché scenario where a secret crush turns toxic, psychotic, and tries to harm Carmelita out of jealousy. Nah. What I'd find interesting is seeing Winthorpe come to Carmelita's aid. Winthorpe perhaps knew all this time that Carmelita and Sly were a thing. Okay, if he knew all this time, then why keep it a secret? Perhaps he has great degree of respect for her, despite his failed attempts at impressing her from time to time and her being affiliated to Sly to any extent. At this point, there's only so much we can speculate. Now going back to Winthorpe coming to Carmelita's aid, an example, a way of helping her, Sly's whereabouts. But that could perhaps also come with a price, putting his life on the line. The criminals the Cooper gang stopped always seemed to have this grudge against Sly. Anyone with any sort of affiliation with the Cooper gang, be it to any extent, well, their life could be in danger. Not just Carmelita in this case, but Winthorpe as well. Just the mere fact of Carmelita's co-worker finding out about her thing with Sly, that alone could put Carmelita on edge. Even if Winthorpe knew this whole time and if he were to drop that bombshell on Carmelita, I think that'd be an interesting story to tackle. What do you think? What role could you imagine Winthorpe playing in the future? And do you suppose Winthorpe knew about Sly and Carmelita this whole time? If so, why keep quiet? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel. It means a lot. I appreciate it. And as always, for you viewers out there, thank you for tuning in. And yep, I've been Vivi, and until next time.